Guys, how are you? I hope you had a good weekend and you're looking forward to another week of doing school at home. I hope it's going well for you. Sure do miss seeing you guys first thing every morning. Hopefully we'll be able to do that again soon. But for today, let's get into our grammar. We are in our grammar books on page 272. We're continuing to talk about adverbs. Last time we talked about adverbs and diagramming them and being able to tell the difference between adverbs and adjectives. Remember, adverbs are words that describe verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. They answer the questions how, when, where, why, how often, and to what extent. Today we're going to be talking about adverb phrases. So phrases that can be used as adverbs. Remember, a phrase is a group of words that does not have a subject and a verb. Okay, so there are a couple different types of phrases that can be used as adverbs. The first one would be a prepositional phrase. Remember, a prepositional phrase is a preposition and then an object of that preposition and any modifiers that would go along with that. So prepositional phrases that are describing a verb, an adjective, or another adverb, that is a prepositional phrase that is acting as an adverb. Okay? And the other type of phrase that can act like an adverb would be an infinitive. Remember, an infinitive is one of our types of verbals, and an infinitive is to plus a verb. And an infinitive is the only verbal that can also be used as an adverb. Remember, participles are always adjectives. Gerunds are always nouns. Infinitives can be a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. So if the infinitive phrase, the to plus a verb, if that phrase is acting like an adverb, if it's telling me how or when or where or why or how often or to what extent, then that infinitive phrase is acting like an adverb. Okay? So look in your book on page 272. Let's look at exercise A. What we want to do is to find the prepositional phrases that are used as adverbs and circle them. Then any infinitive phrases that you see that are acting as adverbs, put parentheses around those. Then we're going to draw an arrow from the adverb phrase to what it is describing. So let's look at number 1. In Israel, the Jubilee year was celebrated once every 50 years. Do you see the prepositional phrase? You should circle in Israel because that's our prepositional phrase. It's acting like an adverb. It is answering the question where. Where was this Jubilee celebrated? In Israel. So I'm going to circle in Israel, and the arrow should point to was celebrated because it's describing the verb. It's telling me where the celebrating was taking place. Okay, number 2. The Apostle Paul went throughout Macedonia to preach the good news. You have 2 adverb phrases in here. Do you see them both? First, find the prepositional one. You should circle throughout Macedonia. What is that describing? Is describing went. It's telling me where he went. So my arrow should go there. Now, do you see an infinitive phrase? You should see to preach the good news. So put parentheses around to preach the good news. That is also going to be describing went. It's telling me why he went to preach the good news. So both of those are describing the verb. Number 3, Peter was honored to be in the service of the king. What do you see? I hope you saw to be in the service of the king. That infinitive, put parentheses around it. What is it describing? Right, your arrow should go to honored. Okay. Number 4, the chess game was finally completed early in the morning. Do you see the prepositional phrase acting like an adverb? Good if you circled in the morning. What is that describing? Be careful here. That is describing early. Okay. Early in the morning. So your arrow should go to early, not to completed. You might say, but it's telling me when it was completed. Well, but early is telling me when, and in the morning is describing then early. Okay. Number 5, on Mount Carmel, Elijah defeated the prophets of Baal. Do you see the prepositional phrase? Only circle the one that is acting like an adverb. Okay. Hopefully you chose on Mount Carmel. What is it describing? Describing defeated is telling me where he defeated. Number 6, Peter and John ran to the empty tomb of their risen Lord. You should see an infinitive phrase there. Do you see it? Put parentheses around it. Should have put it around to see the empty tomb of their risen Lord. What is that describing? Your arrow should point to ran. It's telling me where they ran or why they ran. They ran to see the tomb, okay? Number 7, during the Jubilee year, the Jews allowed the land to lie fallow. What are you circling? I hope you circled during the Jubilee year. Now, where does your arrow go? And I hope you drew it to allowed because it's describing the verb allowed. It's telling me when they allowed the land to lie fallow. All right, number 8. Most of the fans were too excited to leave after the game. What are you finding? I hope you will put parentheses around the infinitive phrase to leave after the game. And then your arrow, this one's a little bit tricky. Where's your arrow going? I hope that you drew your arrow to the adverb to, T-O-O, right? To what extent are they excited, okay? And then number 9, I hurried to meet the plane. What do you see? I hope you put parentheses around to meet the plane. And then your arrow should go to hurried because it's telling me why I hurried. Then number 10, you should find 3 things here. Look at it real quickly. What did you find? I hope you found after his bodily resurrection, before his ascension, and one more, to his followers. Those should all be circled, and all 3 of those prepositional phrases are describing the same word. What word do you think it is? If you said appeared, you are correct. All right, I hope you did well in that exercise. So look across the page. We're going to talk about diagramming these adverb phrases. Remember our rule for diagramming adverbs and adjectives. What is the rule? Adverbs and adjectives always go underneath the word they describe, right? So you're just going to put these prepositional phrases, these infinitive phrases, underneath the word that they are describing, okay? So if you look there on page 273, you have your examples there. Look at the examples, the third one that says modifying an adverb. So when you have an adverb, okay, underneath, it's already describing the verb. Notice how you connect it. You do like that stair step connection there again to connect it to the adverb. You see how that is there. Our guest arrived early in the morning. In the morning is tacked on to early with kind of like a stair step thing. So that's what you're going to do, and we'll practice some of those. So let's look at the exercise down there. Number 1, let's do this one together. So you need to have out a piece of paper so that you can do this diagramming on your paper. So number 1, I am learning much in history class. So subject, I am learning is my verb. Much is my direct object. I am learning what? I'm learning much. In history class, there's my prepositional phrase. What is it describing? In history class is telling me where I am learning. So your diagram should look like this. I am learning much in history class. Okay, let's look at number 2. Right, I want you to try to do number 2 on your own. I'll do it here, and then we will see whether or not you have done it correctly. So go ahead and look at number 2. The weary messenger slept late into the afternoon. So put your subject, messenger. What's my verb? Slept. Now, late. What is late describing? That's going to be an adverb telling me to what extent he slept. He slept late. And then into the afternoon is describing late. So you're going to have to do one of those stair step things to attach into the afternoon. All right. You ready to check your work? Okay. This is what it should look like. Hopefully you can see that. All right. That's what yours should look like. Did you get it? I hope you were able to get that correct. All right, let's look at number 3. You do number 3 on your paper. Well, I do it here, and we'll see if you get it correct. Maybe some of you are even faster than I am, and you're getting it done before I do. Find your subject and your verb. This time we have an infinitive. The early settlers fought to survive the long, hard winters. We have an infinitive phrase, and there is an object of the infinitive. Are you catching that? To survive what? Winters. And then winters has three things describing it. The, long, hard, are all describing winters. Did you get it finished yet? This is what it should look like. Early settlers fought to survive the long, hard winters. Okay, did you get that one? I hope so. Let's look at number 4. Okay, you do it on yours while I do it here. Then we'll see how you do. Many New England women conducted private schools in their homes. Okay, so find your subject. Women conducted what? Schools. Now let's find our modifiers. What's describing women? Many. What else? New England. If you put that, you are correct. What's describing schools? Private, right? Type of schools. Now, in their homes is telling me where they conducted. So that prepositional phrase needs to go underneath the word it describes. So, in homes, there is describing homes. So check and see, did you get this one correct? I hope you did. All right, let's try another one. Number 5. Some young children were sent to live with a master craftsman to learn a trade. This one has a lot in it. Be very careful with this one, okay? Subject and verb. Children were sent. What's describing children? We have 2 adjectives, some and young. Were sent. Why were they sent? Where were they sent? To live is an infinitive. And then with a master craftsman is describing the infinitive to live. So it should go under there. Then to learn a trade is telling me why they were sent. So that needs to go under were sent. And to learn is an infinitive that has an object. Did you get that one finished yet? I'll give you just another second here to see if you got it done. Now let's see if you are correct. It should look like this. We're sent to live with a master craftsman and to learn a trade. Okay, both of those infinitives go under were sent. Okay, good. All right, one more. We'll just do one more. Number 6 will be our last one for today. So look at number 6 with me, will you? Coopers were able to make barrels for trade purposes. Subject, Coopers, verb, were able. Coopers were able is going to be my predicate adjective. Were is a linking verb. Able is a predicate adjective describing the Coopers. They were able what? We have infinitive describing how able they were. To make what? Barrels. We have an object of the infinitive. Now be careful. For trade purposes. Where are you connecting that? Be careful where you put it. All right. Where did you put it? This is what you should have done. Coopers were able to make barrels. Should go under able. And then for trade purposes, that goes under make, describing to make. What were they made for? Why? For trade purposes. Okay? So I hope you did well on those diagrams today. So that's all we're going to do for grammar today. And then I will have a short literature video for us to watch on the serial pages that were to be read for today. Thanks.